Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Morovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon, you will know. The children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening in Morovia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You from Bonjama, Maryland, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. If you eat keep crazy like my brother, to spoon. You got a spoon TV, you got a spoon radio, to spoon. Yeah, to spoon. You want to get a news update, to spoon. Yeah, Rastafari. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. Kilibamba, kilibamba, kilibamba. What I want? It's not about TV. It's not about TV. Spoon. Oh yeah. We are back. Of course, we are here again with another edition of the program. This is the Late Night Show, the Late Night Politics on Spoon. I'd like to welcome all of you tonight to this edition of the program. The Late Night Show is where we talk Liberia. We bring you the trending national issues, and we provide you some analysis around those issues. And of course, we make sure that you can have a say in the national discourse. I'd like to welcome all of you tonight. Today's edition of the program is going to be a great edition of the Late Night Show tonight. As you know, we have the Late Night Show coming your way now on Fridays and Saturdays. And that's due to some adjustments we've tried to make here. But in the meantime, we stay here, and welcome to all of you joining us already. And thanks to the many of you who always make up time to join us here. We're live across radio and on social media, and I want to welcome all of you tonight. I'm Nelson Colette. We're going to have the rest of the team joining us tonight. It's going to be a very engaging edition of the Late Night Show, especially an edition coming after the many activities in the course of the week. We get to give you a roundup on the different activities, bring you analysis, capturing the different happenings across the country and all of that in the course of the week. So yes, thanks for joining us tonight as we go ahead with this edition of the program. Today, interestingly, happens to be the wedding of one of our panelists. Yes, and the late night crew is fully represented there. Mr. Bay, Prince Bay, of course, has his wedding today. We have the team there as well. So we'll bring you some feuds from there. Due to copyright issues, we may not bring you length of audio from there, but we'll bring you some victorious from there. We will bring you some live views from the activity ongoing there as well as we move on with this edition of the program. So again, welcome. Kindly share the program as you join us tonight. I see a lot of you have already started joining in. Nathaniel K. Hill is here tonight. Thanks for joining us. Please share the show as you come on. I see Alexander Sami is here from Benson Street. Nathaniel K. Hill joining in. E.O. White is here as well. Thank you for joining us. Mr. White, I see Philip Bala is joining in. Thank you for coming on as well, Mr. Bala. I see Eric McGill is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. McGill, thank you for joining us tonight on this edition of the program. This is the Late Night Show, and I want to welcome all of you joining us on this edition of the program. Well, we'll bring you the updates, we'll bring you the analysis, and we are going to take a deep dive into the happenings of the week. Once I get signal from the guys, I'm gonna bring a little bit of you from what's happening out there, and we will dedicate this edition of the show, to our panelists, Prince Way, as today is his wedding day. But again, thanks to all of you for joining us. I'm trying to make the adjustments here. Once I'm done with that, I see Francis is trying to adjust as well. But once we're done with that, we'll have that coming through for you tonight on this edition of the program. And I also want to say, keep sharing the program as you join us. Daniel Giddens Kekula is here tonight. Wilson Edwards is joining us. Thank you for joining us, Wilson. Yes, and all of the folks coming on tonight. Let's hope we can have a great show. Let's hope we can have a great conversation tonight on this edition of the Late Night Show. Just before we get into the actual conversation tonight, let me see if I can bring a feud from here. Let me see if I can bring a few from here. I see Francis Jabate. Francis Jabate is joining us. As I told you guys, the entire late night show, the entire late night crew is represented as our own Prince Way from the late night show is, having a joyous moment today. And yes, we want to say congratulations to you. And on behalf of the entire late night crew, congratulations to you, Mr. Bay, as you wed your wife, as you officially take on your wife today. Congratulations to you. And yes, and we want to say thanks to the entire team too. Let me bring Emo on. Momo Tule is coming on. Moba Zuki, I said he's unable to be on tonight. Let me bring Emo on. Emo, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me to the show.
The other minute on the other side, and they say it's difficult for them to come on. I see Prince dancing on the stage right now.
Yeah.
He's having a joyous moment.
Wow. Yeah, I can see that's a colorful moment. I mean, it's such a blessing, man. These are times in your life that it's kind of memorable. You gotta relish the moment. It comes once in a lifetime. I mean, we gotta be married once, but stuff happens. And we have to find another route. But this is great. This is so beautiful. I'm so happy for him, and congratulations to our man Prince, man. What a
Yeah.
day! What
And,
a day!
and interestingly, we got the man Raymond. Raymond is there. Moba Zoka is there. Francis
Mhm.
Jabate. You have Alfred Konowa, Lee Kuan Yew. He's famously known as Lee Kuan Yew. Okay, Francis Jabate, there you go. The man is there, fully represented. You will
Good.
not get audios from them because
I
of
know.
the
The noise in the
copyright.
background. Right,
You know.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, but
But yes,
thing, man. It's a whole colorful activity the guys are carrying on.
Exactly.
Somebody said
You know,
somebody said mobile would not miss this such an event for anything, anything. You know.
marriage is a secret thing. Something that one always will look forward to.
Mhm.
As you everyone, when you were born, the next thing is, as you go to school, graduate, get have a career. Next thing is to plan a family, and
Yeah.
how best to plan a family is to, first of all, get married, and then start a family. So I think he's doing the right thing. Unlike some of our guys, they ain't married yet, but you know what? I want
Vasco.
I won't call shots on people. Let me just live by,
Vasco. I think. Look, Emo. I think you
Yeah.
have to spare Vasco. You see that there you go. Jabate is there. The rest of the folks. But I think you have to spare Vasco tonight. You
No,
know.
no. For me, I won't. No, look. There are certain people who are. It's not intentional. Most of them are, but some people are very intentional. They like keep the people children without marrying them, wasting these beautiful ladies' time. So it's about time we call them out. I mean, if you have a beautiful woman that you love, that you share the same bed with, I mean, why don't you go ahead and get married to her? Why?
You know, but Emo, I don't know whether you're a preacher or you're a motivational speaker tonight, but I must tell you that you're causing trouble in so many places right now.
I know, but
I must, uh,
you know. Society demands that, right? People look at a married man to be, how society
respect.
judges, right? When you're married, they, oh, this guy is responsible. I mean, that's not the case though. But hey, society look at you a different way when you're a married man or a married woman, right?
Compared to, you know,
Compared to a bachelor, a guy who just hanging around
Emo,
here and there. So,
Emo. Is that the reality? And that's the big question. I see somebody asking, Philip Bala is asking if Moba has his laptop tonight, whether he carried to the wedding ceremony. That's another thing to talk about. Lynn Lapoise Vasco is too to get married. I can't say that word. And yeah. So,
but I mean, it's just how society. The thing is, it's just not, a law or something, that it's just something that was created by, true civilization. That, oh, back in the day, I mean, the day of old, we never had to have such kind of flowery thing, or so called quote unquote European wedding. You go
mm,
pay a little cola nut, for
the
your
old
little
man,
Jew.
the old man, the papi,
You pay a little chance or whatever based on the custom, that's such customary duty,
Emo,
So yeah,
and I think this is where it becomes even more interesting.
right.
Does it really matter? Um, uh, should we say? Is it fair to say that everything has been refined? That no, you don't come and go sit in one corner the way you used to having before. You go pay for the 8 hour, or you buy a cooler, you tie the cooler behind the horse, and the woman are your wife, or you go tell the woman parents, "Oh, I want the woman here." I won't cost any planning, but you go there, you see the woman, you say, "Okay, I want the woman." You tell the woman, "Ma," you tell the woman, "Pa." Is it fair to say that everything is refined now, and that should just be a whole different approach to this? Where we are now and where we came from, talking about the modern approach to marriage and the ancient approach to it. I mean, which of the two do you really think is
So
you know?
so I think for me, right, being a son of two native Liberian, two native parents, right, I place much importance to the tradition of marriage. I think that is very authentic, right? I think that is, to me, it is the bedrock of what we call, uh, showing actual commitment to a spouse or to your relationship, right?
Mm,
Where it is customary to see a girl walking in the village, did that, wherever in the town, and that you want this girl. She looks so appealing to you, and you won't probably back in the days of old. You don't even have to talk to her. You see her, you like her, you admire her. You even bypass her without even telling her to go and tell the parents.
That's the point, Emo. What was that not more of a problem? Like you're not engaging or consulting the person, rather you're going to her parents, you know, and the papi and the oma, and these are the people that are making the decision, rather in talking to the person who's gonna be in it. I mean, don't you think that
Yeah,
approach
that's a
works?
great area. Yeah, that's a great area. I believe it should be something between marriage should be something between two consenting adults. But remember, back in the days of you don't have to be of that age, that adult age, to be given out in marriage, right? As
Mhm.
a daughter. So that's a great area there. So you are given because you are not an adult. You are still under the instruction of your parents, and they decide for you because you are not yet fully mature to decide for yourself. And that's where that decision comes in, right? They now decide. So if you see a 12-year-old girl, because it happened back in the days of old, let us not try to dodge that aspect. When you see that there are some grown men in the village or in the town who see a young girl and go to the parents and say, you know what, this is my young wife. I want to marry this girl. That child will be like almost 11, 12 years old. They will go and commit to the parents and say, look, this gonna be my future wife. This is gonna be my wife. So technically, that girl is already given to that man just to the fact that she's not turned over to the spouse yet, but she's technically that man's wife until she fully developed to the age where they'll have that ceremony and then turn that lady or that wife over to the
Mhm.
spouse. So it's different, but I think that's where we believe because of civilization or modernization and stuff, there should be something it should be between two consenting adults, right? So when you're
Okay.
at the age, if I see you around, and then again, if I see you around a bit, we have to like each other, right? Before even if I'm going to tell you that I love you or I like you or whatever, I'll tell you that, but I would not engage. Back in the day, people used to be really afraid to engage into any kind of quote unquote sexual activity until they get to the parents. The parents now will you know, give them what their kind of traditional rights or whatever
Yeah.
procedure that they go through in order to get that wife that you want. They'll give you they will give you a list of what they need, and then you have to go to your parents. So both parents gonna meet and even discuss how it's going to happen. So I think back in the day it was more authentic rather than these days where we have we have this kind of extravagant wedding, and after 2 days, it's all that money get wasted. Sometimes we just do it because of it, because we want people to show up and party and stuff like that. But I believe that for me, in my own opinion, the traditional wedding, I think it has more weight and yeah,
No, and the beauty of the whole thing is that someone may have a contrary view to all of that, but that's it, and then that's
yeah,
what it is. We will always have different views on a particular issue, but what is most important right now is that our own Prince Way, Mr. Way, is getting married today. We want to say congratulations to him,
Listen, Prince,
and we wish him and his wife all the best as
a
they
happy
embark
marriage. Yeah.
on happy
Hey
marriage.
Prince,
And
congratulations to you and your wife, man.
a very
We
big congratulations
a
to you.
big one to you, a big one to you, a big one to you. Maybe after if he comes on the show, we're ready to
Yeah,
celebrate this man.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely, we'll
yeah,
definitely do that.
yeah.
But a lot has been happening in the country, Emo, and I don't know if
Mhm.
you've been
I've
following,
been
but
following a lot. I've been following.
this has been one of the busiest week in the country.
Hmm.
Very busy from the very start of the week. Uh, we entered the new week with lots of different activities. If it was not the Fadiga versus AB Krumah case at the court, then you're talking about the situation with rice. I don't know what about rice in our country. I don't know what about this thing called rice in Liberia. it has always sparked some level of concern, controversies, and all of that. Well, um, we woke up to several arrests being made by this administration. Several high-profile current and former officials of government were being arrested. I say current because in the case of Madam Mary Brough, for example, she's still serving in government. She works at the LEC, the Power Theft um,
Unit,
um,
unit,
team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they are doing a very great job, with the whole fight against power theft. But we woke up to several arrests being made by this government. Former Foreign Minister D. Maxwell Kimia was arrested. Madam Mary Brough was the GSA Director General, the General
Yeah.
Services Agency.
Oh no, we
She
had
was
yeah.
arrested
Yeah.
under the previous administration. She was dragged, taken to the court. The former foreign minister was arrested, and the other officials of government as well. And then it became a major concern because this is something that, if not rare, is something that's strange. Let me put it that way. We have this pattern, this tradition in the country where we've always believed that, once the person was in public service, there's some level of immunity that the person should have. There's some level of extra treatment that that person should have, to a point where we say, when the big man does blah blah blah, there's this action that's taken, but when the small man does this, and there's another approach to that. But we saw all these former officials of government being arrested, and they were dragged by the asset recovery team. But Emo, even before now, there was an interview conducted with Madam Mary Brough when the asset recovery team extended the initial invitation to her. She said it was a mess and that she was not going there. And if the asset recovery team dare try to tamper with her reputation, she will sue the asset recovery team. She said she was not going there. That in fact, she aided the asset recovery team with some of the documents, the thing they have now. And so she was not going there. Clarence Jackson, he said, but if you go, they will arrest you. And she said, I'm not going there.
Yeah,
These
what
people
happened?
are, trying to mess with me. But this whole thing has its root as far back as 2022 in the a huge quantity of rice that was donated to the government.
Yeah.
By the Saudi government.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of you who've been following this particular stuff are aware that it was in the tune of it came in batches.
Yeah.
Came in different batches. But what the officials of government are being arrested for now, or the ongoing investigation by the asset recovery team for, is in the tune of 425,000 thereabout. And so they're being investigated for that. And so the documents are up. We're going to put them up as well with respect to everything that's happening here. And so this has claimed serious attention. And everyone is looking forward to seeing how this is going to go, what's going to happen at the end of the day, and so on. But this has drawn the attention of a lot of people to what the current government is doing with respect to the fight against corruption. And there are different views on this, Emo. There are others who think that this is witch hunt, while others see it as the government doing the right thing in the interest of the country. We saw former First Lady, Madam Clara Marie Weah. She has the City of Hope. She runs an NGO, non-for-profit organization, that she's catering to a lot of young people, through that organization. They graduated the first batch. And with the actions that the government has been taking in recent time, former finance minister, now former foreign minister, now former GSA boss, now a former this, a former that. Now, there has been rumor in the corridors that one of those persons that the government may likely be going after or trying to investigate will be the former first lady. How did she, to account for her stewardship of the funds and everything that she was entrusted with, or that her office was entrusted with as first lady of the Republic of Liberia? In the midst of that, Senator Miguel, who happens to be the CDC caucus chair, he spoke very strongly over the weekend when he said they have been very quiet. They've been sitting very attentively, observing carefully everything that's been happening. But nobody should take them for granted, because the former first lady is a reputable individual. He can say that with full chest, and he's not going to tolerate anybody trying to go after the first lady in the name of trying to investigate corruption. So all of these things are happening at the same time when we're seeing suspension from the president. Several high-profile officials of government are being suspended as well. And in the face of the suspension, you saw the back and forth between Yeke Koluba and Evangelist Nathan Blai. On the other end, in Grangeville County, the most recent one, and all of the different activities, just one after another, happening in the country. Representative James Colette.
That your brother.
You went to church.
That your brother, man.
Brother, he went to the church where he pledged, some bags of cement. And the whole politics thing, sometimes, the religious community too, everybody can get that own song and away now. He pledged to the church, and there was some delay in the process during the campaign period. The other party engaged with this very church. Apparently, the church bought into the message or what have you. And then when the pledge was delaying, there was some politics play with it. So he went to the church, and he made some comments that appeared to be okay. Some people say he blasted at the clergy in the church, the pastor, when he told them that, yeah, you don't use politics. You learn to pray. When somebody promise you, they ain't gear the promise you pray so the person can get money. So that has sparked some serious concerns as well. Some officials or ex-officials of the county have been responding to that, and a lot more happening. Emo, we're going to dive into these different conversations. We hope we can have the luxury of time to do so. But what's on your mind? Let's start the conversation from here, and then we can widen the debate tonight.
So, I mean, I think you've basically said almost all. I mean, many of the things that I would have said that's on my mind. So I just think I don't that I mean, because of because of time, we should just delve into the discussion right away, rather than just, because you've already said it all, everything that you've already covered what was on my mind. And so there's no need to, sort of
Okay,
be
so we can move on.
repetitive. Yeah, let's just move on.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great one. So but I like us to start with this, because this is what sparked the entire thing here. So this document is dated the 27th of September, and that was in 2022, where it says the embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Abidjan present its compliments to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia, and has the honor to inform it that the requests of Liberia have been approved, and that the amount of $2,500,000
Yeah, 2.5 million. Yeah.
US dollars will be disbursed for the government and divided as follows. The amount of 500,000 US dollars for food aid, the 2 million US dollars for restoration of the building of the Liberian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Accordingly, the embassy would like to be provided with the bank details of the amount of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Liberia, so that it will take the necessary actions regarding the transfer of the amount of blah 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 US dollars. That's 2 million US dollars. The
Mhm.
embassy of Saudi Arabia in Abidjan avails itself uh, of this opportunity to renew to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia the assurances of its highest consideration. So these are the areas that this whole thing started from. The 500 uh the 500,000 you see there is for food aid. And this is the backdrop of everything we're seeing here now with the arrest and everything that's going on. Well, there information that the food aid, the rice that was being brought into the country, deposited in the warehouses, you know, to aid people who get caught up with some sort of natural disaster. Take for example, we've had flooding situation, people being
Right.
homeless.
Yeah.
We've had storm in several parts of the country and stuff like that. To be
Yeah.
able to aid those kinds of stranded individuals, and so, but now the asset recovery team is going after these officials because they think that those monies, those resources that were given to the country was not used for the purpose or purposes intended. And now, let's look at the individuals involved. Take for example, the foreign minister, the former foreign minister. Now, if you go back to the document, Emo, you see here that there was a two. Sorry, not this one. If you go back to the document here, you will see that there was a 2 million
Hmm.
captured here
Cash. Yeah.
for the restoration of the building
Hmm.
of the Liberian Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yeah.
And this is where it sort of brings in the foreign minister. This is where it brings him into the picture. Now, all of these are being done by the government with the motive, the intent, or at least from the broader perspective, to be able to make those individuals to account. But there are others. Take, for example, Madame Maribor, who have seen this as a slap in the face of the hard-earned reputation she built over the years. She thinks that this is being unfair to her. I mean, but given everything we've seen here, Emo, where do you stand on this? Well, there are divided opinions on this one. There are others who think that this is in the right direction, while others think that this is a pure witch hunt. What do you think?
You know, no, as you rightly put it, no, our country, our society, for far too long we've become accustomed to impunity, right? We become accustomed to a way of life where, we don't want to account for our own stewardship, and this is new to us. What the president Joseph Yuma Boakai is doing currently is new to our nation. Never in our country's history have we seen anything like this. You know, so I understand why it is sparking a nationwide, concern about, one group talking about witch hunt, another group talking about, we have to, people have to be accountable for the stewardship. Like, and there are certain individuals, especially politicians, in Liberia, feel that many of them feel that they are beyond reproach. And it's totally wrong. No one is above the law. They are not telling you that. They say you have to come in and account for something that you were in charge of What is wrong with that? Come, present yourself for investigation, and if you are exonerated, you walk away free. You
But,
know.
but Emo, the other aspect of this thing, especially the folks on the other side, is that they are concerned about why only folks from the former or the immediate past administration, and that has been an area of concern.
But
They've outlined several cases like maybe the former finance minister, you know, and ex officials of government. And their main concern has been
Mhm.
why not the people who were there before them? Or why not some of the people who are even right now serving in government but are caught in the midst of these allegations of corruption?
So the thing here is right. You do not tell the current administration how they conduct their investigation. They have their own way of conduct. They know where they want to start from, right? So
Mhm.
there are different methodology to investigation. Some have already been investigated. They have preponderance of evidence to prove case against the individual that are being brought forth, for investigation. So I mean, you cannot say, "Oh, okay, they're trying to cover up on other cases of corruption, but they're going after only officials of the past." I wouldn't say that. If I'm the justice minister and there are a lot of cases on my desk, and I want to pursue those cases, however I see fit, right, from where I want to start. No one tells me where to start from, but the idea everything is on my docket. It is incumbent upon me to ensure that all these cases. Remember, also 12 was on a class reloaded, and a lot of Liberians were pounding on him like, why is it that all these cases that all these unresolved cases and stuff, what is he doing? What is he doing with these cases? Why is he not prosecuting people for whatever action they have committed in the past? So if the government decided, remember they said Joseph Parker was an old car parked in the old car that was parked in the garage. But guess what he said? Remember, there was an interview. I don't know whether it was you or whoever interviewed him. He said the race car is now back on the track. So that means he knew exactly, and he knew that he was ready to pursue whoever. Look, Joseph Boaga is not sort of president that is here to do selective justice. Because I'm hearing the issue of selective justice. Why is it not prosecuting or people that are that are within his administration? He's taking action already. He's suspending them pending investigation. But those cases, those other allegations of corruption from the past has already been, they already have evidence to bring these folk to account for their stewardship. So if they have the evidence to indict these individuals, just present yourself to court. Present yourself to, avail yourself so that if you are found not culpable of those crimes, you will be let go. But if you're culpable, you have to. That's why they have the asset recovery team was challenged at first. They said they weren't proceeding the right way. They went to the Supreme Court, and the asset recovery team won the case, and they are back, and they decided not to do it the right way, and they are
You know,
proceeding now. They are not proceeding the way they should proceed. They're going after people. Those are assets. Remember, the letter clearly says it, right? Money was donated to by the government of Saudi of the UAE. It is clear. Money was donated. Food was donated to the government of Liberia. So those who were in charge of those assets, these are assets. Money is an asset. Rice is an asset. Anything that you own is an asset because it was given to you. But they have to account for it. Those rights, remember, back in 2022, things were not okay in the country. There are a lot of our people who are in abject poverty. And those rights were given to kind
You
of help at least
know,
fraud victims.
and this is important. Embo Vasco, welcome to the show. This is very important because this right here that's unfolding before our very eyes, before our eyes at this point, is gonna make or break the democracy of our country. It's gonna set the pace for high level of accountability, high level of performance on the part of officials of government,
Right.
or it's going to break our democracy in a point where, in a case where every sitting government will see the past government as a target, people to go after.
But I
Now,
was
what
just
that does, and yeah, I'm going to come back to you, Emo, but and then what that's going to do is that it's going to make it's going to cause more tension into our electoral process, into campaign activities and all of that, because it's going to be more like a battle of life and death. Because you know that when you lose the election, there's a whole lot that lies ahead. Aside from you not just being in power, but your reputation, your protection, your security, your wealth, and everything you've accumulated, and all of that. And then the fair nature of the process and everything is another conversation for another day. What do you make of what's happening here at this point, Emo? Is this
look,
going to make or break
look,
the democracy of our country?
look. Nelson, right? Uh, I work in government, right?
Mhm.
As long as look, you won't worry about who's going to win the election, and if a new government comes to power, and if you've done the right thing,
Mhm.
if you've done the right thing, you have nothing to worry about. They can still subject you to investigation. You have nothing to worry about. You just come, and submit yourself, and and then to the investigation, and then at the end, if you've done nothing wrong in the past, no one can manufacture something in the court of public opinion. Your character might be maligned or whatever, but in court, it is you get prosecuted beyond all reasonable doubt. You have to be found culpable beyond all reasonable doubt. It's not about the what people out there are saying. It's about you, the evidence being presented to the prosecution to see whether you actually went
Let's
wrong.
Liberia a little bit. Let's come back. Maybe Mo is talking about other societies and all of that. In Liberia, here in Liberia, once a man goes to jail, for example, a lot of people don't really have the time to figure out or to investigate or go into the details as to why you went to jail. But once a man goes to jail, the next day everybody said, I mean, like criminal, they may even went to jail. They may even went to jail. So take for example, when they those ex-officials of government were taken to jail, uh, the former foreign minister, as a matter of fact, he's the political leader of the party called MOVE, the Movement for Economic Empowerment. Yes, MOVE. It used to be Dr. Mills Jones, former central bank governor and stuff like that. Immediately when he was detained, his political party pulled up a statement calling on the government to immediately release their political leader. And according to them, the action against Ambassador D. Maswell Kimia, the government has some sinister motive, and their intention is to derail his hard-earned that's his hard-earned contribution, or his hard contributions, or those major contributions he made towards the empowerment of Liberian girls, Liberian women, the country as a whole, and all of that. So it got to a point where it was not just about Ambassador Kimia anymore, but his political party was seeing it as the government wanting to bring him down. Someone who has contributed to the country, and now you want to bring him down. That was the interpretation. And there are other statements that came from other political actors on different sides. Jefferson Koji had his own write-up, and other party officials or executives, especially from the opposition community, they had their own views on this one. So, Emo, just finally, then we'll move to Vasco on this one. What do you think is happening here? Do they have a point, especially so when your political leader is being investigated by quote unquote opponents, those people who were opponents yesterday during the election?
So look, I mean, normally, when these things happen, your a political leader of a party, when he or she is being arrested or subject to some form of investigation, it is obvious that the party must have a position. The party must come up with a press conference in defense of
Mhm.
their leader, because he is presumed innocent until proven guilty, right? So
Okay.
at this point, they have all right to support their political leader. You know what I mean? So the likes of Koji and everyone supporting their own, I mean, it is their right. It is their right until that person or whom that is subject to investigation has been is proven guilty. They are not until proven guilty. So all of those actions from opposition figures supporting their own and saying that the Braga administration is witch hunting, you expect these comments to sort of be out loud. They're gonna it does like a they're gonna cry out loud saying that, oh, they are targeting their own and leaving those within the government that are corrupt. You're gonna see that. So, but all I'm saying here is this, right? Let people allow justice to prevail. Let them allow the rule of law to prevail. They themselves, for years, have been saying since Braga took over that the rule of law has been abused, or Braga is not doing the right thing. Now everything has been repositioned, and now the right thing is being done. Let the people face due process, and if they are not found guilty, they're gonna be let go. But do not like try to strangulate the process, like try to protest and stuff about let justice prevail. Let them show up for let them go to court, present their case, and if they are not found guilty, they're gonna be let go. But I mean, it's a normal thing, Nelson, to see political parties or partisans of this political party have their own say and support their political leader. But what I will frown on is people trying to obstruct justice. It won't
Thank
be
you.
accepted. You have to submit yourself to for a due process.
Thank you, Emo. Vasco, let me come to you shortly. And this is very important. I want to start with you by putting this particular post up. This is from Representative Wungwe. And this is what he posted. He said, me sitting quietly, watching how JMB is doing exactly what George Manenwia said he would do regarding the previous administration: audit and prosecute. But it didn't. The irony. You know, Vasco, do you think former President George Weah dropped the ball on this one? Especially so when he gave former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, what was his score? He said she did what? 80% or 70%. On one major interview, he
On
said
the
she.
issue of peace, a lot of people didn't listen to that interview.
Okay,
The
there you
former
go with
president
another
was,
angle of it. There you
yeah,
go
the
with
former
another
president was
angle.
referring to, you were
Do
not.
you think, yeah, do you think what we're seeing now with JMB is what former President George Weah should have done? Do you agree with this one?
Thank you, Nelson. I'm glad to be back tonight on the show. So, one way or the other, yeah, you might be right. The CDC administration, but after coming to power, they should have, carry on audit and let people be responsible for the stewardship, what they did during the
Mhm.
12 years. But again, taking over a country that we saw the largest peacekeeping troop in the world, the United Nations troop that was in Liberia at the time was the largest peacekeeping troop. Looking at all these NGOs leaving the country, United Nations leaving the country. So the CDC government had something urgent to do to pay
So, so,
attention to the.
what exactly was that urgent thing the CDC had to do other than investigating and prosecuting ex officials of government?
Listen, the urgent thing that we had to do was to make sure the people
Mhm.
of the country, their interests first, to see to
What
it that, listen, we had to make sure
Mhm.
to put the country together.
How do you put the country together, Vasco?
Listen, you will not,
Maybe if
excuse
you
me.
want us to pass this aspect of the conversation, we can still do that. If you want to pass this conversation.
No, we're not passing this conversation. I'm telling you now, you got to give me a chance. Let me
Okay,
learn.
let me give you a chance too.
Thank you. So, taking over a country, like I said, with all of those people leaving the country, we couldn't just come and start prosecuting people without putting things in the right perspective. Because don't forget, the people that brought you to power, you got to make sure their needs be met. So if you ask any Liberian man, Jason will tell you, the first thing we need for every government to look after us, what we want. Nobody will tell you, say, as soon as you come to power, you go start prosecuting people. Okay? So we can't how to settle all of these things. Nobody will say and tell you, say, the citizen, they all carry on audit. The citizen government carry on audit.
No,
But maybe,
Vasco. This is my point, right? And this is this is where my question comes from. The CDC was in opposition from 2005
right.
up until 2011, up until 2017. One thing that remained very constant in the message of the CDC over those years was that the previous government or the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration was corrupt. That former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was responsible for NOCA bankruptcy. That the ministers, the directors, and officials in the Ellen Johnson administration were squandering state resources. So if that government was that corrupt, Vasco, my question is, what was more important than auditing that corrupt administration as a way of setting the pace for accountability, progress, and everything for your own administration? Do you think the government or CDC or whatever that you support, do you think they did well when it comes to that aspect?
Yeah, I guess when we came to power, Nelson, you were around, you were a journalist, you saw the former president's
No,
son
no, no,
and
no.
those,
I don't know anything,
yeah,
Vasco. That's
you
what
saw
I'm
the
asking.
former president's son going to jail. You
Mhm.
saw those that were responsible, like the central bank governor. I think I just forgot his name. All of these people were prosecuted and they went to jail, right? Yeah.
The
So
central
we
bank governor
started
was
on that
prosecuted.
footing, right? Yeah. So
Okay.
the CDC government prosecuted people. People they thought that had something to do with corruption. It happened on the city. But I won't sit there and tell you the way we wanted it to be. Some of us, at the end of the day, it subsided and we were focused on the bread and butter issue of the country. That was the CDC agenda. We had to make sure our people go to free
You know,
school, free tuition.
and Vasco, you may have a point on this one, right? In 2019, son of former Liberian president, Charles Sirleaf, um, was arrested. He was charged with economic sabotage And that was in March of 2019. When did the CDC government take over? It was in 2018, right?
Right.
So about a year after, less than 2 years into the CDC administration, Charles Sirleaf was handcuffed. This man right here, Charles Sirleaf, was handcuffed. He was put behind bars for economic sabotage. But if you go deep into this particular story, and this is where it gets very interesting, Vasco. Oh, something is not working out for me here, and I will put this up. But this is where it gets very interesting, because if you dive deep into that particular story, you know that the reason why Charles Sirleaf was charged and the others were charged with economic sabotage and all of that was because he was allegedly involved with the printing of the money. Can you guys see it right here?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this was on the BBC. Josh, welcome to the show. I believe you couldn't hold back, but you had to rush on to help Vasco out tonight. But this was on the BBC, and Charles Sirleaf, son of the former Liberian president, is in handcuffed. And as deputy governor of the Central Bank of Liberia, he was suspected of pocketing some of the proceeds from 2016 to 2018. But Vasco, do you really think this was sufficient enough, given everything the CDC spoke about in about 12 years that is the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government was doing as far as accountability and the prosecution and all of that is concerned?
Nelson, when it comes to corruption cases, especially when it comes to Liberia, to accuse people are one thing, and to also have evidence of what you're accusing these people for is another thing.
Okay.
Okay? So, the case went to court. Did the government have sufficient evidence to find these people guilty? No. And that's the reason why they walk out free. And similar thing happening. I really wanted to throw light on the issue of the president now. Similar thing happening right now. And this is a mistake that this government is making. Okay? And what we've been saying here, none of us here against government prosecuting people because of corruption. People that you believe corrupted the system. Like I can say all the time, if any of our CDC officials will go to court and be found guilty, we will not sit there and back them. But the reason why we keep telling you people that the government is witch hunting, and this is why we're saying it. Look here, Ami Moda was accused of corruption.
Where is he?
The evidence, he was suspended, and even he resigned. So have the United Party government did any prosecution? Did he went to jail? Because the reason why he resigned, because the evidence was clear. Patrick was he from how you call the place?
RC. Where is he?
He was suspended. Did he go to jail? No. Doing the inauguration Miata formula, if the president came out and told everybody that the Miata formula, if I say he threw the whole case outside. Grace Bay. The president having never even taken his seat. Grace Bay went to NASCO. He took 500,000 from there to Baka. These are all clear corruption cases. And you got these people walking. But for the other people, as soon as you get small people say, oh, the person did this, the person did that, because they're from the opposition, you get grabbed there, put it in jail, Nelson. And you know very well, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So the way the government could have done this thing for everybody to say yes, if your own people that you see a Cameron Corrupt Act, suspending them, not taking them to court, not putting them in jail. But the other people, they haven't even been found guilty. You just grab them in the morning straight in prison to tarnish their reputation. Put them in jail, come back from jail before they start going to court. Give these people the benefit of the doubt. Take them to court. Let them have their lawyer. You all go through the case. When these people are found guilty, everybody will see in the country. They will go to jail. You will not hear no citizen people making noise. But the manner and form in which they're doing the nursing, and that way we'll have the problem. You get on the road, your road passing around. Then the other people, you accuse them, you take them straight to jail. And that is not the right thing to do. Like you said something very important here, Nelson. People, young people within the United Party government, they're laughing. This is going to bring a serious problem in Liberia, Nelson. Because
do you think it's built?
You know what?
Built a democracy, built a party where
that's what I'm saying.
Have accountability in the public space, or is it going to bring out democracy?
Trust me, the way you're collecting these other people and just putting them to jail, if the next government comes, they won't give you the opportunity to go to court. People who the high-end money, because if you work in government, you take pay. So if you use your money to build house, people will just come and put claim on you. Like you're having an asset recovery man who was fired during the CDC administration. They may almost 2 or 3 persons have resigned from the asset recovery. They're accusing of corruption. But this is a man that accusing people and they're grabbing and carrying them straight to jail. So you see, when we come back to power, you may not be corrupt, but because you form part of this government and you were treating other people in that manner, they might go for you.
So Vasco, you're confirming that when you come back in
witch hunt now, they'll do a black way on
people, and they're grabbing and putting them in jail without any investigation.
Nothing, but the same thing happening under this administration. No,
but you assume that this is what's happening. Has that been proven?
Nothing. I can tell you for sure. What is happening now? If we come back to power, the CDC that I knew before, that were focusing, their main focus on to develop the country, carry on their projects. There won't be an easy ride anymore for people who say.
Vasco, are you saying that the CDC gave an easy ride only because the CDC wanted to develop the country? So you are focusing on development and not on accountability and the fight against corruption.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. This government will lose almost all the cases they carry to court because they will not be having no sufficient evidence.
Okay.
And you understand? You're not going to take people to court
Nelson.
That time. You just see the same thing that happened with the capital building something. You know the amount of money government has spent within the investigation. That money could be used to build places of road. Use some of the money to build some kilometers of road.
I want to hold you there. I
want 30 seconds before you bring. I know you want.
Give me 30 seconds, but let's bring Josh in. Josh has been very quiet on the show. Let's hear what he has to say on this. Give you 30 seconds, then we transition. Josh, you want to weigh in your thoughts on this particular issue? Welcome to the show. Currently on mute.
Yeah, look, Nelson, like what Vasco continued to say.
By the way, your new haircut make you, makes you younger. You look like some 28 years old.
I did it myself. The barber haircut, yeah.
The maple cost so long here.
Don't wonder why I made a Chinese man. But anyway,
where is your boy hair again? You, my man.
People cost so long here.
I think when you don't baby cut it so long, so over my hair, you will be red a day, red because you cut it so a day. Like that, that's one thing, yeah. Yeah. But look, Nelson, like I've not been completely over the topic. I was asleep and taking my evening nap is so I didn't really get the entire topic. But what I listened to.
We're more or less going back on, the happenings, and we're starting up with the arrests made by, government of past officials of government. The former foreign minister being one of those persons, Madame Mary Bro and others, on account of resources that were entrusted into their care under the previous administration. The ongoing investigation by the asset recovery team. What are your thoughts Are we on a good pace? Are we seeing a robust fight against corruption unfold right before our eyes?
Look, Nelson, for for this reason, for just for answering this question and for addressing this issue, I would not want to be you know sh- maybe short-sighted in my response. What I want to say is that we welcome the fight against corruption. Even the CDC did that, and the CDC did her part, and it came to a place where the CDC dropped the ball. And I should say, when I said drop the ball, that means instead of going after
At
people
some
who
point,
have
they
found the
have to mess up.
resources.
Do you
No,
think
the
at some
thing is,
point, maybe you agreeing with the lawmaker here when he did this post? Me
insane
sitting
quietly
quietly
watching.
watching how JMB is doing exactly what JMW, that's GMW, said he would do regarding the previous administration: audit and prosecute. Nah, but he didn't. It's
Yeah,
irony.
yeah, definitely. And look, and I think the CDC started with this thing. They started to prosecute, but the crowd was too much in the country. The noise was too much because I can remember there's a guy from the I think I know Unity Party called George something. I forget his name, but I think he's with Kumis now. Um, he was being, questioned and investigated, and then the noise was too much in the country about wage fund. And I think during that time, the president or the administration made a decision to just abandon this thing here and focus on what we had to help the Liberian people and move on with their lives, right? Because what the realization is, some of these things that the people took, you never get the money back, right? And like the rest, and somebody so rest they eat the money, or you can't go. Some people you can't go in their bank account and find any money there. But the thing is, Nelson, we dropped the ball. We appreciate that this government has come and has been investigating. However, this investigation, all this arrest and all these things that are happening should not just be with one set of people. Because guess what? There are people who work with the CDC government who are working in this government. So if you are arresting the people for the investigation and when these people are tied together, these people should be also arrested as well. Like the current city mayor of Monrovia, he was giving at least 5,000 bags of that rice, of which
You, you guys give the current city mayor 5,000 bags of the
yes, they did. Yeah, they did. They
Arab
did. They
people
gave him
rest.
5,000 back. It's part of the investigations. The report. The report
What
that I
was he
read,
a
they gave
disaster victim? What was the arrangement?
no. I think that rest was given to them when they were doing the Monrovia cleanup. When JB was coming or whatever it was coming, people were doing all sort of things, and they gave people, because it was for relief. You know what I mean? So you could use it at your own discretion. So they gave him rice. So has he been caught? What happened? We just want to make sure that it's not partial, it's
But
impartial,
George, you are saying something very interesting. Sorry to interrupt you. But
mhm,
if the current city mayor was giving some of the rice,
mhm.
then what you are telling us is that the rice has been in stock. It was in stock even up to the time this administration took over. It's
But
been
the
there.
rights came in 2023.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. The rights came in 2023. So it cannot be that possibility cannot be ruled out. Not it was there still. You know what I mean? So now saying we want to make sure that these things are investigated thoroughly and everyone faces the law. Because look, regardless of who you are, which party you support in Liberia, when people continue to go with impunity, our country will not develop. Because anybody who get there will be like elephant me out, even when go and nothing will happen. So that
Mhm.
means people will come to public service and will just want to enrich themselves and not help the Liberian people. Like you see for the LTA, the guy who was just suspended by President Boakai. That report had been on President Boakai's desk for months, almost a year, because that audit report was there before he even came. And that report on index, he waited until just recently, maybe 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, before he suspended this guy. That report, even the lawmakers were crying behind him to make sure he act on the report. He didn't do it until he got satisfied because of his men, because this guy used the money to allegedly to support his campaign. So he didn't want to dismiss this guy. So he delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And now he's suspending this guy finally because there was no way he could do it because this report has been in the news, has been everywhere before he did it finally. But for those who don't work with him and who are not supporting him, as soon as they say, hey, he will suspend you first before you even go and look at the report. But for this guy, the report was on his desk for months and months and months. I think you can even have Eddie Snow. Eddie Snow made that said that report must come. Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
Amy, welcome to the show. But going back a little, someone just sent me a message.
Yeah.
Maybe I should read the text the person said.
Mm-hmm.
The person said, "How is this different? What you just said about report being on somebody's desk and the public outcry. How is this different from the public outcry against former Finance Minister Samuel Twe by Liberian? The need for him to be suspended, which former President George Weah did not do until the U.S. government sanctioned him." Okay, so what can you say about this?
Look,
Samuel Twe, a problem. And the former president did not take any action until the U.S. government themselves saw it, and the U.S. government sanctioned Samuel Twe and the rest of the other people.
So Nelson, here's what I gotta say to that. Samuel Twe sanction, it was mostly related to the H. I know in Liberia they can call it H, but here they can call it H. The HPX, right? HPX, yeah. That those people, the Americans. Let me tell you, any American company that works in your country, if they ain't getting their way around what they want, they can go to Congress, they can lobby with Congress and make sure that Congress make things work for them. They gave money because they wanted to use the same railroad that we're talking about. That even around Bwaka, you saw the letter on the road of Bwaka a few times, almost insulting our president, because he guaranteed them he was going to give them the use of that railroad, even though he got on contract.
That's a Metal Steel.
To use that Metal Steel. Thank you for Metal Steel. For Metal Steel to use that particular track for many years, right? You can't give me contract. I already signed a contract. Then you say you're going to take the contract from me, and we're already in the contract. I would not agree. So this thing, because Metal Steel got contacts too, and HPS, that American company, they're fighting over this thing. That what brought that thing. But you can never point out all the report that whole Samuel Twe and say Samuel Twe stole it.
Josh, you really want to go into HPS story? You really want to go into the details?
No, I cannot go into the details.
Deeply dive into that whole HPS thing.
We're a different thing than them, man.
But Nelson, I tell you that what the sanctions originated from. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
So if you can show me an audit report, let me tell you. Let me get it to you straight. If you can give me an audit report that strictly indict Samuel Twe and say Samuel Twe took this amount of money, he stole it, right? And President Weah did not take action, then of course I will eat my words. But I'm telling you that I've never seen any other report that indicted Samuel Twe, except for this. They are talking about this money that they said was supposed to be used for the how they call it, the security people that they are talking about now. I know $6 million. But besides that, no other report has ever indicted him. So you can't say President Weah should take somebody from that because you vest. Because let me tell you, Nelson, the position you're in, not everybody likes you. In that place that people, say, maybe you not even know that people will go to your boss and say a lot of things about you. People say a lot of things about you.
Don't try to bring me in that thing here to come.
Nobody will make that emotional decision. Nobody will make that emotional decision because somebody say it, so they're going to take action. There should be tangible evidence.
Let's face this issue, Josh. Let's face this issue. We're about to give Mo his 30 seconds. We bring Emmy in and then we transition. But let's face the issue this way. The government took over in 2018, the 22nd of January, under the Hassan on SKD. President George Weah put here, do something this way. But from 2018, too early. I mean, I think somewhere June of 2018 or something, $16 billion came up in the country. Where is $16 billion? Until the people, MC Karen made music. They say they want 16 billion in the country. It
They
was
eat
serious,
it, they eat a show on it, they eat a show on the thing
you
and
know.
all.
And they see people are campaigning, but that's another story. But
But now they
16
come to power and almost as if they don't talk again. They eating. You know
I'm
when
coming.
eating, you can make noise.
I'm trying to lay something out. 16 billion noise
Yeah.
came in the country early 2018. Somewhere around June or so. 16 billion noise still there. The next thing that happened, they say they want the US raid and the raid were going up, so they want mop up. You remember the mop up exercise? 25 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's agree. The report said they didn't spend 25 million. They rather spend what?
17.
7 million and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then and so on. So those were the places where the outcry started with Samuel 12 from. That from as early as 2018.
Yeah.
And from 2018 up to 2019 up to 2020 June 7 protest came, people protested, the play went wild, they call it internet, some point it came back on and off and on, but protesting all can happen. But nothing happened. And so that's why the message the person just sent says, all those public outcries, former President George Weah did not do anything until the US government said their high court, they say will come in soon. But if you want to bring HPS now, then a different thing because there are
So Nelson,
HPS stories.
I gotta go see my doctor, right? So let me just say what I want to say.
And
So
you
I
really
can
gotta
go
go see the doctor.
Yeah.
And,
How
you
you
know,
gonna see
just-
the doctor and run away? You gotta say.
Actually, so you wanted the
Yeah,
president to act on this?
Yeah. So Nelson,
Mhm.
look, there will be no president who will act because people cry. There should be
Okay.
tangible evidence to support that cry.
Oh.
You will not just hear somebody say the person corrupt, then you go to the person for them. Only because you say the person corrupt or the person is stealing. Now saying, let's take it for face value. Look at somebody will not just come to you say, oh, your son did this to me. Then you say, oh, they start beating your son. You not say what he did to you. What he did. You want to find out what he did. So if people just go in the street and say, oh, it's a simple don't lost, and then John gets start fire everybody who let me tell you, in government, they got two type of sector there. Two main sectors, the monetary arm of the government and the fiscal arm of the government. That particular arm that did the mopping out is not headed by Simon 12. It's headed by the central bank. The central bank deals with the monetary arm that they can reduce currency from the market, that they can put currency there, that they can do all those things. That's their job.
Yeah.
So
you're
if
right.
you want to blame anybody for taking money from the market, and what happened in that process, and the central bank is all to blame. But because like people, they know, people don't
No,
know.
But you
So
you're
when you talk about
contradicting
money
yourself
business,
too much.
no,
But George,
Sorry.
they even compensated the central bank governor.
Please don't
They
interrupt.
they
1 minute.
compensated the central bank governor.
No.
They
yeah,
use some money.
Gosh, guys,
yeah,
let's do this.
they can't stand it. They can't stand
You're
it.
contradicting yourself too much.
Guys,
No,
let's
I'm
do
not.
this.
I'm not.
Interestingly,
If you understand me, you know.
guys, interestingly, Nat Petrie,
Mhm.
one of the best CBL governors we ever had.
You
Nat
saw how
Petrie-
he left? Yeah, he left.
No, come here. Don't jump this whole thing. Nat Petrie, who was a CBL governor at the time,
Mhm.
when the whole thing happened, Nat Petrie tried to get a side of the story.
Mhm.
But you know how the whole thing went on.
How you give me plenty time?
Nat Petrie,
I know, right? Give me too much time, they got it.
Governor Nat Petrie, yeah, it's just a final one. Emma will
Yeah,
give it.
greedy. You need the part of greedy. You started the show. Yeah.
But this is the thing. Nat Petrie said, you know, all that whole mop up thing, he was not involved in it the way people talk about it. I followed closely several engagement, media interactions with Nathaniel Petrie at the time.
Mhm.
And the old man himself was stuck between the rock and the hard place.
The House office, yeah.
And so at the end of the day, it was just a finance minister clarifying, okay, we carry the money, we put it in wheelbarrow, some people, the businesses, and crowd report.
Mm-hmm.
A report said businesses receive money and I'm not supposed to receive money. So the businesses, when I register, how they get the money, no way to track them, no way to trace them.
So
maybe
Nelson,
we'll
yeah,
go
Nelson,
in-
let me just clarify that so I can go.
You know,
I'm sorry. I will be back.
yeah,
I'll be back because the hospital ain't far from here. The
Yeah,
hospital I'm going to is just the apartment. So yes, why? You know, when people say things, we that know or those who know it have to clarify it. The thing is that I don't like 712's his energy. Because Semetua as a finance minister, you see, the current finance minister, you can hear him too much. You can't hear him too much. But Semetua was too animated. So everything people used to notice him. It's like he was the most hated person in the whole government because he was too animated and too forceful. So
So you
people
mean
would just
you trying
everything
to
to
say that political finance minister you had?
oh man,
No,
that you
no,
told I wanted. I mean,
no, say it. Don't be
you told I
scared.
want. So the thing is that Nelson, when we talk about corruption, when they say, okay, if I gave you $10 US, I say, Nelson, go and change the $10 US to EW Junction. You bring my exact money where I want. You put it down. Then I say, who you change it from? You change it from Jalo? Then you say, yes, I change it for Jalo. When we go to Jalo, Jalo say, Nelson, I change that money to me. Then I say, Nelson stole the money. Common sense. All the money was accounted for. They said it, but the people who they say they changed the money to, we not see the people. How does that amount of corruption up to this time? It baffles me. I'm trying to investigate myself because I don't know how it makes sense to anyone. But Nelson, that's Liberia. Everything has to be politics because when people want to come to power, when they want job and they broke, they sit down home, they will make everything to seem as is a crime of everything that they want to, because they want to kill that person who in that position to get there because Liberia no job there. So they will do all sort of things, Nelson. That's the problem. But Lord, Nelson, thank you for the show. I will be back, but I gotta just
I hope you be
listen
listening
here.
because every time that you are just
I
talking,
will
you
listen.
won't make it make sense to
I'll
you.
listen. I'll listen. Nothing you can tell me, Amy, that will surprise me. But
What
thank you
what do
guys.
you
I
what do you
appreciate
come
it.
to
Contradicting
say?
yourself.
What do you come to
Contradicting
say?
yourself the whole time.
So Emma go Emmy and then yeah.
So I will start by
Let's see, give me 30 seconds too.
quoting
Ben, you're supposed
uh
to talk.
Pratiha Pati. His name is spelled as Pratibha. Last name Patil. Patil.
Yeah, for now.
And yeah, and then the quote is this, right? He said, "Corruption is the enemy of development and of good governance." He said it must be it must be got rid of. Both government and the people at large must come together to achieve this national objective. Corruption is the enemy of development. Look,
How?
when I listen to our brothers on the other side, it saddens me. The fact that you will sit on this show and said that your government came to power and they had to be focused on the bread and butter. What do you think is the bread and butter issue of the people? If you come to power and corruption is like a cancer, it eats up your body like a cancer would. Those look, the fact that you are not able to even audit people who were there previously to ensure that whatever they for any kind of ill-gotten wealth, taking what doesn't belong to them, bribery and all of these issues. And you sit there and say, "Oh, we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on the bread and butter issue." How will you handle the bread and butter issue of the people if you cannot stop the bleed? Your country resources were being taken away by corrupt individuals, and unless we correct those wrongs, prosecute people for taking something that don't belong to you. It's stealing, it's corruption, you're a thief, and you must be treated as such. So our jurisprudence, then let me tell you, Vasco, you talk about Baka just grab people and pull people to jail. That's not how it works. All the people you see order, investigation was being conducted. They had sufficient evidence to prosecute them. That's why they were indicted and taken to court. Mary brought and the lights were taken to court before they took them to jail. I wonder whether you even watch that video.
Yeah, a
So
lot of
we,
lawyer. You got lawyer,
so
yeah?
their lawyers were there at the courthouse.
Basically.
You did not watch it, so that's how it works. There would be evidence by the prosecution, and the prosecution will come in. And that's the process. You will get arrested once there is evidence on you. You get arrested. They take you to a court, and then from there they'll follow you to a jail. Once you get there, you can, if it is a billable offense, you can get a bond and be bailed out of jail, and then wait for your wait for your days in your time in court, and then the due process continues from there. So for me to see you guys sit here, look, Joseph Yuma Bwaka will be remembered on the right side of history. Joseph Yuma Bwaka legacy will remain as the only president in our modern history that stood up for the people, that fought corruption in its entirety. So we should be yelling Jesus in Mabwaka.
Corruption won't
We should
stop.
not be sitting. I mean, gap when my poor talking. Don't be interrupting. You're talking how quiet here, my man. I just 30 seconds and a half. In fact, I'll start my 30 seconds again because
Tell us
yeah,
you go
because
for 5 minutes now. Let's know.
you interrupted me. So
No,
look, gentlemen,
that way we gotta.
let's call spade a spade. This fight against corruption should be an all hands on deck approach. This is for the greater good of Liberia. This is not for Joseph Yuma Bwaka. Joseph Yuma Bwaka is just the one who's the face of that. Who's the one? He's the guy who now decided to say, you know what, I will stand
Thank
up
you.
for our people, and that gone are the days that impunity was the order of the day. If you go to a public office to serve in public, is to go. Government is a place to serve, not to steal. I'm quoting Tiawan Bongola. If you go to public
Thank
office,
you.
you will now learn. I mean, they will serve as a precedent that anyone who decides to come to public service, you will know that once you put your hands in the cookie jar, you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent
Thank you,
of the
Momo.
law. I rest my
You take the
case.
people to, you told the people to call, you couldn't allow the people loyal to even come to enter the place.
Can you please mute? Tell you 30 seconds. Let me something. 30 seconds. Not 5 minutes. The Momo.
Yeah,
Don't see what
Momo.
you
You know, I want sometimes when you're talking, you're quick to forget. So, are you trying to talk about the court system? But I heard people, even these people that they put in jail, the people said they never even allowed their lawyers to even come in our court to say anything. As soon as they went there, the judge was just quick to send them to jail. So I want to ask you, why they didn't put Samuel Tua in jail? Is it Samuel Tua process? Everybody watching that process. Nobody making noise on it. Because Tua went to court. So you say government has sufficient evidence, so they get sufficient evidence on you. They just sort of grab you, send you straight to prison, according to you. But so Samuel Tua, I want to ask you, so that which means the government gets sufficient evidence on Samuel
That's
Tua
not what I
that they bring
said.
back. When
I
Samuel Tua
said
went to court,
that's not
they
what I
came
said. I said
outside.
before you the court.
Samuel Tua process, it was followed the right way. He went with his lawyer to represent him. And based on that, he was able to come out of the court and go into
So Mary Brown no her lawyer? No,
none
for
of
her
them.
lawyer?
Remember, lawyer, they wouldn't went to the jail.
No, that's
No,
not true.
you know why
Okay.
they
No,
go? Because
they
Thank you,
went to the
they
court.
Pastor.
didn't give the lawyer a chance
Where is the
to
video?
say anything. He
They
just go
went to
there
the
and
court,
carry them to
man.
jail.
One, let
Stop.
him finish, Momo. Go ahead.
That's it. So you see, two different things happening in the court system.
Hey, man, you know what
The
you're
right
talking
one
about.
was Samuel Twe. The court
Okay,
followed
my
the
turn. You
procedure.
said that's it.
Go ahead, Amen.
The court followed the procedure of Samuel Twe case. Samuel Twe went with a lawyer. And that's the reason why Twe went home and he continued to go back for the case. But for
All
these other
right.
people,
Thank you,
nothing.
legal
If
mind.
you're going to allow them for the lawyer to go in there with them, you are not going to take them to jail. You know that. They are
Thank
not
you,
going to go to
Vasco.
jail.
Thank you, Vasco. So, it's so hard to defend criminal when you try to do it. You get stuck and you just start to run around the place and you don't know what else to do or what else to say. The first thing first, you came here, you said when I asked you about CDC not sending people to jail, sending people to prison, about the child study situation, you, Vasco, said that, oh, you need all the evidence. You can't just put people in prison. You can't continue with a case if you don't have sufficient evidence. That's what you said. But you're telling us, George also came, he said, oh, why is it that this guy, a person, Waka just suspended his business being in the news? He's corrupt. He this, he that. Why is President Waka just suspending him now? But he was the same judge that said that people just don't say someone and say somebody corrupt and President Baka just grab them and put them, I mean President we are just grab them and put them in prison. You have to have enough evidence. But then you're telling us again that President Baka is supposed to, because George sits on this platform, Vasco sits on this platform, Amy sits on, or if somebody sits on another platform and say, this person is corrupt. I mean, Moda stole this car. I mean, Moda did this. I mean, Moda did that. Because Vasco opening his mouth and saying it's a fact. That's the evidence. They should grab, I mean, Moda and throw him in prison. Even if there's nothing there that says a person was, they should grab him because Vasco has said it, or because the sedition has said it. Oh, everybody not said it. But then when it comes to this guy, you're making all the law. Oh, you have to have you have to have sufficient evidence before you put people in jail. You can't just grab people. So that one person, yeah, did not do that. And then George had the audacity to sit here and tell us that. Oh God, that's why I say it's very hard to defend. Samuel Eto'o opened his own mouth. He said Samuel Eto'o was not a part of this process, right? The whole MAPA exercise. Then when they told him that Samuel Eto'o opened his own mouth and started saying what he did, he telling all that Samuel Eto'o had Kool-Aid in his system, so he was hyper. So he lying on himself. George know the whole process, but Samuel Eto'o, who was in charge, he was too high on Kool-Aid. He didn't know what he was talking about. But George know the whole process. You need to stop. And then y'all come here with your pretending we want the right thing to be done. We want people to go to jail when there's something. And you sit here and talking about we should focus on development and not arresting corrupt. Like, oh, so now Vasco telling us, people, y'all keep on stealing because focusing on development is the most important thing. Even though you're stealing from the people, nobody should go after them. That means the country is falling apart. Then I mean that's not development. Even though that's where development starts from, it will make people to know that no, this is a new head niggas in charge. You cannot just keep doing this and keep getting away with it. If you do it, this is what's going to happen this time. That will stop corruption. And all of those funds and all of the resources that they are stealing can go towards development. That's how it happened. You don't get people can steal. The only reason why CDC did not continue because they had a plan to go haywire on corruption. That was it. Every good thing that Madame Solis did, they left it out. All the bad thing that she did, they grabbed it. And they went on steroid with it. They had a plan. That's why they did it. Because they never, that's why when President we lost the election, he started giving telling President Walker not to prosecute his people, not to go after his people. Who are you to come and tell somebody what to do and what not to do? That's not how it works. You cannot do that. You have to go after. And who are you, Vasco, to tell the president or to tell this administration where to start from, how to start, who to go after, to know that what they have done and what they have not done? You don't know that. You think these people just crazy? They don't go grab people and go throw them in prison. That to say they drinking water from their nose, and you're the legal man now to tell us what is going on and what's not going on. We shouldn't listen to them. Why are people not telling them? Say this is not happening. They ask us to recover whatever they have done. They have people who already confessed already. So where you coming from? Where you're sucking what you template to come run around and be talking, y'all just go and flood the airway with this. You just go and flood the airway. When you hear the other people talking nonsense, you can't flood it everywhere. You're sitting on and think that's gonna make it work. No, it's not. People you're talking to now, they're not stupid. Like when people have waking up. And it's about time you wake up with them too and stop kissing political party and political leaders' butt. It's about time you wake up for your country. You too old, Vasco, and I'm glad you're here today looking at me. You too old to be putting political party and an individual before your country. What will you do to the 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 20, 21, 22-year-old when they're doing it? You have nothing to tell them.
See a nigga over there, the shit.
You have nothing to tell them.
Get together.
You're supposed to be telling people to love that country, to do the right thing. You can love CDC. Nobody say you shouldn't love CDC. The only thing you should be asking for
a top personality or discuss the
issue. The only thing you should be talking about, Vasco, and you and the rest of them, is that the government should be transparent with our evidence. They should be sure that they have evidence against the people when they're coming after them and not just go after anybody. You don't tell you George sat here and talking about city mayor. I know what he got out from today. City mayor, okay. But he forgot to mention the vice president too.
He got it from Spoon.
Of
Spoon
course.
talked to them.
He forgot to mention they mentioned the vice president too. Madam Joa, I heard tell her, is she in prison? Was she arrested as well? There's a reason why she wasn't arrested. So maybe there's a reason why he wasn't arrested. Maybe he had his own receipt or whatever. You don't just sit here because you want to tell them, oh, arrest that person, and they go arresting them. That's not how it works. If they whatever investigation they are doing, and they are investigating CDC government, you don't expect to see United Party people getting arrested for something that was doing CDC government. If the United Party person were working in that government, then yes, they can do that. But it's like, yeah, like I said on the other show, you hear that to say a Democratic government, Democrat party come to power, they're investigating a Republican government. I just power government. I just left power. Then he said, "Why aren't you arresting Democrats leaders and stuff like that?" It doesn't make any sense because they were not there. If they were involved in that, it's okay that they can do that. But you don't come and be mandating and be pointing finger who for somebody to arrest and whatever. As long as they have that evidence, they're going to court with it. They're not just grabbing. And yes, you can arrest somebody when they've done something and they can get bailed out, Vasco. Not because somebody they might get what they might say, oh, guilty for before they go to jail. No, that's not true. You can arrest somebody and then they can get bailed out and then go to the courts. And when they're not guilty, they walk free. But you don't have to hear guilty verdict before a person goes to jail. That is not true. Don't come stay here with your legal mind or you got it from the Sakimochi and got lot to the Liberian Port. That's not how it works. Nobody's doing anything wrong here. No matter what you do, that person, what I can say, they will build this country and they will do the right thing. This is the first time this has been done. So I understand all of the gibberish that are going on. I understand that people are not used to it, but y'all get used to it because it has started and it's not going to end. Thank you.
I mean, just to add up something to what you just said, right? Just to tell you how something very sinister about this whole rest issue was played back when that rest came, right? The bag that the rice came in the country with, it was switched to another bag. They changed the bag to a proper. What's the essence of doing that? And we could see many of those right where distributed. That's true. They were distributed. They came 2023. My man, allow me this. Okay, you say your own. 2023, we saw a lot of people distributing that rice for campaign purposes and stuff. Rice are supposed to go to disaster victims and stuff. It went for campaign purposes and stuff. Look, let us be serious for once and put our country first. That's all I have to say.
Vasco?
Okay, you know, when people come to this kind of a discussion without any substantial, facts or nothing to say, they will start with attack. And you understand? I think we'll have a discussion, fun discussion. We'll have a topic we're discussing here. But for people to leave the entire topic and just come on Vasco, I can't. I made my own point. And that's how I look at issues. But you're leaving, you attack me.
I mean, we just were joking, my man. We were joking here, man. Do that thing.
If you don't know what I'm going to attack, you need to go learn it. I mean, responding to what you said.
You should know the rules. Ain't no.
I mean, we keep to debunk your lies. Nobody attacking me.
You lying now. I want to correct you. You know what a proper rescue?
Go ahead.
No, I know. Go ahead.
Okay. They're sorry rest. You're talking about 2023. The proper rest. Listen now. The proper rescue in 2019. So how come now they took the rest from in the bag? And these are some of the lies I've been carrying around. Today you're in power. You don't know how to govern the country. You're running beyond people all over the place.
People that stole.
No, listen. No. I mean, you said something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If you go and steal, when you steal and they catch you red-handed, they take you straight to jail. If you kill somebody, they take you to jail. But if you accuse somebody of something that haven't been proven, that's why you can take them to court and they will go with their lawyer. That lawyer is going to defend that person in the process. If that thing is available, something they can get it. They can get a bill. Somebody can stand their bond right there and they can go back home. It happened to Tue. Government accused Tue, and when Tue went there, Tue lawyer went with him. They had a bond for Tue, and Tue went home. But it never happened with Maswell or Kim Young. That's what I'm saying. What happened to listen? One of the things you're mistaking your own government, but you're not even following your government.
It's your
The
government
issue
too.
about
If you're Liberian, that's your government too.
yeah, but
And
you're
then,
into your government. Yeah.
we got to consider a different
And
topic. That didn't finish talking his.
No, I got
listen,
something. I
let me
want to
end
tell
like
you when you
this.
finish.
Let me end like this. You see the what you call the guy, Ami Moda. You see Abdullah Kamara, and how you call the other guy from El Triple RC, Patrick Ozi. Even Noka, the woman that the president suspended. These are reports that came from the LSCC that were on the president's desk. It was already with the president to take action, but he never took action. When the public came on and started making noise, spoon and started making noise, that's the time he started to take action. So it's quite different. For when Samuel was finance minister, there were no other report on Twitter. Oh, LSCC, I never had any other report on Twitter. Twitter did this and did that. And that's what John we have brought.
Really?
Well, you know that now. You're going to forget. So what I'm telling you, so that's two different things.
Oh, man, hurry up, man. Amy, take over.
So,
you can be the one talking and saying
man, guys, transition a different topic, man.
No, I'm bringing facts here. I'm saying logic here. Huh? You just can't just talk.
Okay,
you understand?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is it was two different stuff. Two I don't have any something from LDCC to say, oh, they may carry money and give it to this, and this is what he did, and they had something on George Weah decks for George Weah to take action, and we didn't take any action.
Thank you,
Vasco. It was you people that were just passing around making noise.
Okay.
So that is different. Yeah, your president had all the things.
So
the way you suspend these people.
Okay, so you want to know why LSCC report it never come out? Why they were leaking? They were leaking paper to people that spoon in because they were scared. Nobody wanted to die again. They see how many auditors that been killed.
But you're the one killed all the auditors that come to power.
Something. Okay, so the auditors that are doing that job there now, nobody killing them. So they were scared. Nobody wanted to die again. Nobody wanted to come out with Samuel Stewart's name. Everybody. So how you think they were getting these? How you think every platform that were flagging it out? How do you think they were getting these documentations and stuff? Where do you think they were getting it from? Even the judge wears a fake declaration that he had $20 million worth for shoe and watch. Where did you think they got those documents in from? So don't come here and kind of lecture us like you see somebody here. I told you going on those days that you will come and just sit and lie to Liberian people. They have passed that. Vasco, please, don't do that. They have passed that point. Liberia is like the whole world now. Everybody have phones. Everybody have data in Liberia. Everybody kind of like journalists now. Everybody are well informed, so you can't lie to anybody here anymore. Anybody can do something and just be swept on the rock anymore, Vasco. So don't come here without lecturing thing. Oh, Joe, yeah, it was different. Yeah, Joe, yeah, was different. But one person, when I suspended, all the crowd, everybody come out. Everything that was said, all the things that was so why are you doing this? You want me to put you in the back when I say something? Don't do that. So let me land. I'll let you land. Let me land. So all the team that was putting out in George, we are the government, and y'all always like to say people like to bring up we are. It's not person anymore. When you're the one who always bringing him up, and then when we try to debunk your lie, y'all make it look like somebody bringing we are in a conversation.
Different topic to bring we are.
Exactly. So and Samuel Stewart, all of those things happen right here, and they all got caught. And all the public that you're talking about, public. It's a good thing that our government is listening to the public crowd now. When has the Judge ever listened to public cry? When? doing it 6 years. Like you coming here and telling us something different. He has never done that. So it's a good thing, and you should flag it now. Nobody's saying that part of it is a good thing. Everything else that needs to be
Our people
checked,
are
that
still
you
corrupt.
want to be something, you can do that. But that part is a good thing, and you should applaud that. And all you should be calling for is a free and fair investigation instead of you coming here and trying to make it seem like somebody just stupid. They just go grab somebody from the house and throw them in jail. No, that's not how it
But
works.
that's why you're doing it.
No, that's not what they're doing. I'm not. I'm here.
Now what
I'm
you
not
doing? You
your.
just when the magic came here, or you grab it, you carry it, put it in jail.
There's a paperwork that did a master that said Master Kemaya did something wrong. That's why they grab him and
Yeah,
put him
but
in jail.
carry it to court.
Not
Carry it to
because they
court.
want to grab
Then
him
be
and put
entitled
him
to a
in jail.
lawyer.
No,
Let's
Mas,
go to the
look,
next topic.
eh,
Because like, your government is not doing anything, so you ain't got nothing to say about your government. And so we come on that show, Joey. I thought you're supposed to be bringing all the developmental agenda of your government, what your government doing, so we can tell you, say your government is not doing this. But you can lead the whole discourse. We care what our fun topic, Nancy, bro. But you're not direct the whole thing. You're going to Joey. Samuel Twain, Joey, Jawasi Kochi, only
we're talking
national
about
anthem.
audit. They were talking about audit, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about all
Everything
this.
was
We tell you.
everything we're talking about here is about audit. Don't try to water down what we're talking here.
don't
Everything we're
mind.
saying here, we're not no crazy people talking
I
here.
told
Stop
you the way your government
behaving that kind of way.
operating. Nobody against
What
audit.
do you mean? The next topic, yeah. Let's move on.
Well, I don't know what Nelson had for the next
So
topic. That's the thing.
Nelson talk about the
Let's talk about
seven
the hardship
issues.
in the country.
Seven issues, man. I mean, now Nelson.
Stop it now. Stop
Maybe when
making it so
Nelson
noisy.
was giving the training issue in the country, you probably was not even on the show. So don't get
But
disrupted, man. It was me and Nelson who started the show, right? You know that, right?
okay, go to
Okay,
yeah, go to
so
your next topic.
so Nelson also talked about the issue with the
What
issue
happened to
between.
him? Though?
I think we talked about it. Yes, I mean yesterday, but he brought that topic back again regarding
Oh,
what happened in Grand County, and yeah, he brought it back again.
you see, that's the
So
problem. That's he don't have show
When you
till
development
Friday and
your government
Saturday.
again
So
to carry
he
day by
always
day
hit
in
when
Grangeland.
people don't want all of those
yeah,
Yeah,
he
we'll
things
talk about
back
it.
with it. So that's the thing.
Yeah, we'll talk about
So
it on the
Vasco,
school. Then
seriously,
we
you're
say we
not
get
doing
tired.
well with this something right now. I'm gonna log out if you don't stop that. You're making the show noisy.
yeah, man, you
Have
you
some
you
restraint for goodness sake. Come on now.
yeah. You don't come on the show just be making noise, man. They got people in the comment section listening, and people are on the show listening to you that even know far better than you and myself are on the show. So you gotta pay attention, man. You can't just be here,
Yeah, but you said
making
you
this noise.
discussed it yesterday and you don't want to talk it today.
No.
Any topic me and yes, I understand, but anything you bring up, we'll talk it.
So let's go back. Who said this? Somebody insulted me in the conversation, but that's okay. Oh yeah, but
Don't pay that. Don't mind.
yeah, so yeah, that's okay. But I mean, we were talking about we're trying to talk about Yeka Koluba yesterday. Because Yeka Koluba is always in opposition, right?
Mhm.
Like we said, Yeka Koluba thrived in chaos, right?
Mhm.
So what he did yesterday, that many you pissed Hill yesterday when he was insulting George Weah and insulting a lot of people that were then the current regime, that is the CDC government. It's the same thing. It's the same thing he's doing today. And by that, we have come to know that Yeke Koluba has nothing to offer when it comes to legislative proceedings, right? When it comes to fighting for the people of his district, right?
Mhm.
We all know Yeke has never for over I don't know how many. I think this is his second term in the legislature that he has never even proffered a bill. Neither has he even co-sponsored a bill. So Yeke thrive in chaos. I think it's about time that the Liberian people in 2029 give Yeke a good send off. Let him vacate our national stage. He's been a disgrace. Look, for some of us who hailed Yeke back then, I'm sorry that I even ever supported Yeke, even insulting George Weah. I don't think it was necessary. Though politics were playing into it, but as national leader, no one should aspire to see their leader like that. Yeke Koluba is a national disgrace, and he should be nowhere seated at our capital. This guy, I, I just don't understand. Like, I mean, if you have issue with the president, whether it was Joshua yesterday or it is Joseph Imabwaka today, there are ways as a legislator to air your frustration. If you saw that yesterday or today, Bwaka used certain amount of money for the funeral rites of our former president and his wife, and you felt that it wasn't necessary that such money be spent, you have the right to send that communication to the House of Representatives to your speaker and tell the speaker that you want that on the floor. You demand that it become one of the topic in the House of Representatives so that you guys can you want demand answers that whoever was chairing that committee to set to carry on that occasion. There are committees that was set up
Mm-hmm.
to or for that entire barrier. You can invite that committee to the House of Representatives for questioning and ask them to show evidence of how the money was spent, rather than going on motorbike and riding motorbike around where the president is, you know, and causing chaos, using young boys, young people on motorbikes and singing slogan like "You are going to disrupt the funeral," or like President Bwaka did not. That's not the real body of former President Doe. Bwaka went and just grab some kind of sand from somewhere, some kind of dust, and put it in the casket. That is so distasteful. Look, look. Gone are the days where people like Yeke, that's what I'm saying. That country, if it were any good or smart democracy or smart country with smart voters, Yeke, people like Yeke then would not see public office. He's not fit to be in public office. And as such, this is the reason why we're seeing the kind of behavior from him, because he has
Thank you.
he doesn't have anything to or give our people, rather than just cause chaos around here.
Thank you. Vasco?
Yeah, thank you, Ami. It's a shame on you, my brother Momo. So if we bring Yeket Kulba topic here,
Oh,
this is a
Vasco.
big hypocrisy. That today that
Hmm.
Yeket is not material to be in the house there. And for some of us, for me, Yeket, right now, Yeket have all right to say anything you want to say to Bwaka. I want you to know that Yeket never supported George Weah before. Never. But
Yes.
Yeket supported this president, the president we got right now. Yeket supported the president with everything. The same motorbike today, Yeket kept around. Yeket took the motorbike all over. Yeket spent his personal money to support this man. And if Yeket feel that he's not doing the thing that they brought him to power for, Yeket get all right to say what he want to say to Bwaka.
But Vasco,
And
is he saying that Yega doesn't have the right to say anything about
I know you are
guy?
listening to me.
That?
Did you
no,
really
yeah,
listen to
yeah,
me?
yeah. Right.
Mama,
Mm-hmm.
is that what he
I want to say
said?
it's a
That
big shame. It's a shame on him to even bring Yeke topic. None of you people here should talk about Yeke.
I'm asking you a question. You didn't answer the question.
Yeah, he said it. And I was going back at him.
No, he did not.
He said it. I heard
Okay.
it. Maybe
No,
you
you know,
don't heard
listen.
it.
I need to
You know,
order that area sitting there.
you
Let
never
me see the
listen
phone
well.
here.
You never
Yeah,
listen
he said
well.
it to you.
No,
He
I
said it to
said,
you. He said Yeke
I
Mama,
said
not
what?
wait.
supposed
You
to
need
be.
to let the man finish, please. Before Vasco
Eh?
is back and forth. Go ahead.
Yeke got all right to say anything he want to say to the president. Because
Mm-hmm.
he labor, he's fought, he's sweat to bring him to power.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing he said we are doing, he's saying that Bwaka is doing more than what we are did. So
Mm-hmm.
based on that, say he brought Bwaka to power, he was say what he want to say to
He
what?
brought got the power.
Yeah, but man, when you can brought Bwaka to power, yeah, he supported that man. Every one of
Okay.
you. Look, and you see, you guys,
I mean, can you bring your camera? Oh, we can see your face. Who's that?
Benson?
Oh, that's my prof.
Bring it up a
Bro,
little
what's
bit more.
up?
I did not know I
My
was
bro
on
down there,
anyway.
man. Way back up there.
Thank
So
you.
you
Uh,
see, there's in great year.
Welcome to the show.
You see, your United Party people, you guys, you're too ungrateful. Some of you people were saying Javazi coaching her, Sabu Une, they were doing this, they were doing that. And what everything you people talk about, you're coming right back to do the same thing. Look at the group that are being born naked, or Revy, I know Bishop or Revy. Look at those rebels born naked took over there. Yeka went down there, you only ride your motorbike passing around. And you don't forget that when they say this is the president that you carry the empty casket you carry to bury, was a fun fair, people were married, May. So Yeka when the star of identifying with the crown people to put people together, be moving around. But you had a rebel that
Thank
was
you,
on
Pastor.
live camera threatening this man. That if he said the army cannot do nothing to him, the police cannot do nothing. So under your government now, you have formed a militia group which is headed by Born Naked, and none of you are
Thank you,
saying anything
Pastor.
on it.
Thank you. Mr.
I even,
Benson, welcome to
my
the
meaning
show.
not even feeling. No problem. I will let my prof
We
talk
can
because you not
you're
give me
muted.
chance.
You're
it's
muted. Okay.
kind of interesting when I hear this
Did you teach
conversation.
this man, Mr. Mason?
Not my problem. Man taught
Yes,
me. Let
I
me
asked you.
finish. Let me finish.
I asked you. Did
But
you
yeah, me
teach
quiet
this
a minute,
man?
prof.
yes, I did.
Oh my God. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh,
But
I was
the,
one of the smallest in my class. Yeah.
But go ahead. I think you don't see your student jump and performing here a little bit. I know you're embarrassed, but go ahead. We excuse you.
I mean,
Even
I'm
like
not
politics
embarrassed.
now, those student teacher
You're
believe in
going
the
in and out.
politics.
Vasco, mute and let me talk. You're going in and
It's
out.
good, you know.
Yeah. I
Okay,
can
let
hear
me
you
see.
now. Yeah.
Okay, it's good to hear people express themselves and articulate their views. In this world, we always never have the same view. We always differ from each other. Yes. Uh, with this Bug Naked and Lai and what you call him, Yeke, I really, I really don't see the essence of promoting it to any level. But now, uh, citizens backing Yeke and saying Yeke did this to us, United Party back Yeke. And one thing I like Yeke for is his consistency. Yeke is consistently consistent. It doesn't matter whatever Yeke said is wrong yesterday, he say is wrong today. If he doesn't care, he will say. He doesn't have that much vocabulary, so he use what he's got. Like the people say, when you go on the back, whatever ammunition you have, whatever weapon you have, that's what. And that's how Yeke is. Yeke uses his whatever level of vocabulary. That's what he uses. But my